welcome all three speakers. My name is Nina Nirashamalisaklami, and thank you for joining our The Nations Forum Digital Assets. Sawadee speakers, can you hear me?
Yes, all good.
Yes
ครับสวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadika. So let's the discussions begin. First, I would like to start with Kun Jittinun. What is the missions and visions of your company and your latest movement?
Okay, let me introduce TokenX. TokenX is the ICO portal company under license from SEC, and our vision is to powering the next generations of digital economy, elevated financial accessibilities, and bring opportunity to everyone. So we act as a bridge to bring people from traditional world into digital finance. So we have end-to-end solutions for tokenization. So we can help the company to issue all type of tokens, investment tokens, utility tokens, or even NFT. So our recent project that we just launched is BNK token, which is the utility token of the girl group franchise from Japan. Yeah, that's a development.
What about you, Kun Sanjay? Would you like to introduce your company, please?
Hi, my name is Sanjay. I'm the CEO of Cryptomind Advisory. So I'm the co-founder of Cryptomind Group as well. So under Cryptomind Group, we have a couple of entities. So Cryptomind Advisory is focusing on research, consulting with company, bringing them on board to the digital asset world. And also we got the digital asset investment consultant license. And we have another entity called Merkle Capital, which is one of the first regulated digital asset fund management here. So overall, we are having our total asset under management right now is $40 million US, so around 1,400 million baht. Yeah.
And last, we have Mr. Chong. What is the missions and visions of your company and your latest movement and development?
Hello, my name is Chung Ying. You guys can call me Ying. I'm the CSO and co-founder of Tokocrypto, the largest and licensed exchange in Indonesia. So I would say the mission vision will be bringing crypto legitimate in the country, that's why we started on as the Tokocrypto exchange, which serves as the gateway for Indonesians to enter the cryptocurrency world. And then now we are focusing on building the ecosystem with our NFT marketplace, with our incubations program and accelerator program with BI Ventures, and also coming up with our own IPO launchpad and also NFT series. So now the next few years, we will be very focusing on the ecosystem building within the Indonesia area. Thank you.
Okay. So I would like to ask Sanjay, you are now in Dubai right now, live from Dubai, right?
Yep.
So you're joining the Blockchain Week 2022. Could you please tell us the atmosphere and how are things going right there?
Things are pretty buzzing in Dubai. So I got a chance to speak to a couple of regulators here and people in charge here. So for Dubai itself, they want to establish themselves as one of the Web 3.0 hub in the world today. So it's pretty interesting to see people globally from China, US, UK, Europe, Asia as well, moving and having some sort of operation presence here. With the regulation that they're having, they want to attract a lot of global players to build a new industry over here in Dubai. And the regulation is quite, I think, flexible. That's the way to put it. And I think from talking to the people here, a lot of people have moved here permanently and set up a base here. And attending this event, I think there's a couple of thousand of people. Got to meet people from all over the world, whether they're doing project, exchanges, fund, security firm. So many things interesting going on here at the moment. And I think there's the conferences they have. I think they have a couple of conferences every other week. So it's an interesting place for people to come network, meet each other, and share collaboration and ideas. Yeah. So atmosphere is very good, I would say. Yeah. Finally, good to get out of Thailand. After 2 years.
Anything interesting that would benefit Thailand?
I think the way they set up the regulation here is more on the sandbox model, and they want to establish a pretty strong operation industry over here. So apart from that, I think they have some concern as well with the AML and the investor protection. But I think it's very good for the local economy. They can attract a lot of big players in. Couple of big companies have set up a license exchange here, getting some sort of license, establish themselves as an operation hub. So maybe Thailand can take a look at some of these models for us to be able to attract some of the global players as well. Because I believe if we are able to attract some of the global player, the local player would benefit from all of this as well, with all the talent coming in, the collaboration work coming in, and setting up as a ecosystem and a hub in Southeast Asia is quite an interesting possibility, I would say.
Well, talking about Southeast Asia, I would like to ask Mr. Chung. So Tokocrypto, your company is the top-ranked digital asset platform. What is the situation in a country with a nearly 300 million population, and how are the digital assets being adopted right there in Indonesia?
So I would say that currently, over the last few years, right, crypto has actually grown very big in Indonesia. So it's like from 2019 to 2022, we have seen almost 100-fold growth in the number of crypto asset traders. And currently our numbers stand around 2 million registered account, about 100 to 200k active weekly traders. So among this group of users, a lot have actually been Gen Z of 20 plus to 30 years old from what we see in our platform. And actually, crypto asset in Indonesia has become a sort of lifestyle and the go-to preference for investment of these younger generations. And recently, especially about the NFT boom, Indonesia being a creative hub as per se since the olden days. Indonesia have a lot of artists, a lot of creative talents, and I think this NFT boom actually matches well with the talents that Indonesia have. And from there, you see actually a lot of NFT projects like Carrefour, Arek Saga has actually been coming from Indonesia. All of those are Indonesia, GameFi, and NFT projects. So this is how the situation in Indonesia has been picking up for crypto asset and NFT over the last 1 and 2 years.
How do you see this trend would expand within ASEAN?
In terms of ASEAN-wise, I think regulation point of view is definitely one of the main areas to focus on, because at the end of the day, right, for the citizens to be able to join in the DeFi ecosystem, the NFT ecosystem, exchange will need to be there to be the gateway. And currently, exchange, I would say, is the center point of all the regulation across ASEAN. On Indonesia side, I would say that the regulation has been quite flexible. We have been actively engaging the regulator since 2017-2018, and we became the first one who got licensed in Indonesia. And that actually triggers a very good momentum for the country, where I think currently, as of now, there's about 20 exchanges that received the registration license from Bapepti, which is under the Minister of Trade as a commodity. So I believe to mimic the boom that we are seeing in ASEAN, and similar to what is being seen in Indonesia, the exchange part will need to be the first mover, and from there, the different citizens of the ASEAN countries will then be able to access the ecosystem through DeFi, through NFTs, and through GameFi. Because without the exchange, honestly, there's a lot of limitations on the accessibility of all this ecosystem for the crypto asset and other NFTs ecosystem.
Jittinun, would you like to add something to this? Hello? Jittinun,
Sorry ค่ะ yeah
Can you hear me?
I'm so sorry about technical problem right now I hear you
Okay, would you like to add something to what Mr. Trong said towards this digital asset trends within ASEAN region?
I think it starts with Thailand first. I think in market in Thailand for cryptocurrency is well adopted. But once we talk about like investment tokens or utility token, it's relatively new to the market. There are only like a very few like use case for investment tokens for Thailand because there's still like having a hurdle in relation to like VAT or VAT perspective to be able like for the issuer to launch effectively into the market for investment tokens and also for the understanding of investor as well, whether it's like kind of cryptocurrency or it's like token with underlying. And that's the perspective for the investment token. And for utility token, I think issuer or trier or like developer is trying to like find a unique or find a benefit of launching a utility token. But I would say the regulations in Thailand is still like unclear for like both investment and utility. And I think similar to like the previous speaker say, like NFT is very boom in Thailand and Southeast Asia as well, and also for like GameFi.
Well, digital assets can be divided into three categories, which are currencies, securities, and utilities. How do you see these three evolving together? I would like to start with Kun Sanjay ค่ะ
I would probably say for me, I think all of it will kind of converge. Like for me personally, I don't like to like mix or divide it into like different category. It's just a use case. I'm more focusing on the use case of the token itself. So whether it's like some of you might call it as a cryptocurrency, like a Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ripple. Each of them have potentially other use case in the future as well, right? So I would limit it to just for as a part of like cryptocurrency itself. But I think like for the future, right? I think we are seeing a lot of security firm exploring asset tokenization model. So something similar to might be a single asset REIT or a bond, corporate bond into like move it to a digital asset. Also some commodity, even though like gold, silver, copper, or even like a livestock. So there's a lot of couple of different models that people are exploring this at the moment, and potentially with NFT as well, right? Like people can actually own something which they clearly own and can monetize on it as well. So we will see at this stage, right? We will see the crypto industry exploring new business models that are unheard of in the past, like how we had the new business model of like Uber, Airbnb back in those days, right? So I think we will see a lot of new business model from play to earn, learn and earn, move to earn. So there's a lot of things as well that can be done, right, in this future. So I think future is a bit unclear, but I think we see some part in it. And also there will be convergence between like security, asset back, even the DeFi world, right? They have to come link up with the CeFi world. Anyway, I feel like so these two cannot be separated forever, right? So it'll be interesting to see as well how things turn out and how things converge together as a whole.
Kun Jittinun คะ How do you see these three things evolving together?
Like Kun Sanjay mentioned, I think for the like if talking specifically for investment token, I think people trying to explore because for tokenization you can tokenize anything that have value. So we do expect that people will trying to see like a variety of underlying or variety of asset or project to be backed the token, and also like a wide variety of like compensation scheme that they plan to pass through the value to the investors, whether it's like revenue sharing, whether it's like bonus, whether it's like fixed revenues. I think it's wide variety of like use case or scheme that they are planning. And yeah, I do agree with Kun Sanjay that there will be like a thin line between investment and utility, because like we can see like some utility or some investment that have like both feature in the same token. So that's yeah, I think that's the trend right now. Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Chung Ying?
For me, I actually see what is the trend now, right? Is the regulators trying to separate these three different tokens under different regulation, because it's like, for example, utility tokens and asset-backed tokens that's not stable coin are actually more towards under the Minister of Trade. Then if you're talking about securities token, it's more towards like the Minister of Finance or SEC in US case point of view. And utility token will also be under Ministry of Trade, and stable coin will be under the bank, National Bank. But I agree with what Sanjay mentioned just now. Most probably towards in the future, right, there will be a lot of hybrid model between how the tokens is being designed. Like a simple reference that we can do now is the DAO. Currently, a lot of the tokens that's being released are the DAO model. But DAO, if we going through the idea of DAO, is basically giving voting rights to the token holders. So is this part of the utility token, or is this part of a security? So I think all these are the questions that is coming up, where regulators will have to face it and really come into understanding that this might be something new that's being designed, and it's hard to really categorize it fundamentally under any regulators as of now. So this is something that I feel that has to be viewed as a brand new idea and a brand new category. Yeah.
So digital assets are on blockchain technology, and what is the development now, and how secure will it eventually be, Kun Sanjay?
So I think we are at a bit of like, since I've been in this industry since 2017, I've seen a couple of developments. So back in those days, a lot of projects were still fundraising without an actual product. So those we call it the initial coin offering boom. So people were raising like a couple of 10 to like 20 or $50 million without any real product. So that actually was the actual scary part. But then as we move on within this industry, right, we had a lot of 0 to 1 innovation came up. First of all, with the DeFi in 2019-20, started off with couple of $10 million. Now we are like $200 billion like market cap for like TVL or like total value locked in the DeFi space. So you can see the growth even in DeFi itself, right, is humongous, like for like the past 2-3 years that has happened. At the same time, you've seen a lot of adoption for the crypto space. User in Thailand back in 2018 was around 100,000 people. Now we are more than 2 million. Expecting to go to even like 5 to 10 million, I think within 1 or 2 years for sure. Crypto is not about only investment only, right? So right now, the trend that we're seeing, like even traditional VC have mandate to invest in digital asset related company, whether you are building infrastructure model, whether you're doing NFT, fan related engagement, GameFi related. So there's a lot of new innovation being developed as we speak. But right now, I think like there's a lot of new money coming in, especially from the traditional VC. We can see a lot of, and the other trend we are seeing is a lot of M&A as well globally. You're going to see bigger exchanges, whether from the global perspective, start coming into new frontier market, right? Whether they come into like do it themselves or M&A or JV with an existing company. And apart from that, I also see the trend that first of all, like back in those days, a lot of things were about speculation and investment only. Now we are talking digital asset, not only on that part, where we have things related to fan related, artists creating NFT, being able to monetize on their art, gamer being able to monetize on their time, owning the real value of their asset, being able to actually sell their item in the game that they actually own. lifestyle. Other thing is like profile picture. People start building community around certain group of picture they own. So I think like a lot of new development coming in at the same time, right? This is going to be another frontier, right, on how we're going to move to the next innovation batch of the digital asset era. So I think like a lot of traditional financial company also, they have to take this seriously now. Global company are coming in for sure. They're like, so I expect this to grow to be even higher, I think. And I didn't even mention about metaverse yet, and the new Web3 perspective as well. Yeah.
So that's how we need to create the sustained ecosystems. Therefore, my questions would be, how can digital assets create the ecosystem for business, and in which way, Kun Sanjayคะ?
So for business, I think I spoke to a lot of companies as well. Traditionally, they want to enter the space. A lot of them, the most time, what I would recommend to them is to have like an open experimental mindset. Because to be completely honest, even you ask anyone, right, no one actually know, right, how you can monetize on some of the things we talk about, right? But we see kind of the framework where it will be going. So the important thing is to get into the bandwagon first, start with very small step, right? Have some proof of work concept, then slowly scale your result out, and then slowly pivot it to whatever you think might work well with the market. So we are seeing a lot of traditional businesses from retail store, artists coming in, building their own space, create engagement with the fan, with the metaverse concept. A lot of potential are being unlocked at this moment in time. So I think you have to come in with the open mindset and not look at the ROI currently. That's very important, right? So you're investing something at this moment for the future, and to create a new future business model, I would say on that part. Yeah.
What about you,คะ คุณ Jittinun? How can digital... Please go ahead.
Okay, for the ecosystem, right? I think for blockchain can create like a new business model or a new asset class. But with the new business models, I think certainly with new business model, there will be new community and new ecosystem built up for a new use case that created. And come back to like an existing company, they also can use this digital asset to create their community or ecosystem as well. Because for example, if they issue investment token repeatedly, and then they just create a community of investor, they just create the ecosystem of the group of investor. And for the utility token, for a company that issue utility tokens, using it as an engagement or royalty program, and then they are building a community, or they are building the engagement between fans of their product and service. Yeah, I think that there's a wide variety of way of building the community or ecosystem by using digital assets.
And for you, Mr. Chung Ying?
For me, I would say that crypto and Web3, I would say that it can have a very good reference towards the Web2 space, where Amazon, Facebook, Google, all those who are nobody in the traditional space become so huge and really dominate the market over the last decade, when Web2 become really the main focus of the industry. To build this ecosystem, right, what needs to be changed is really the mindset of existing companies who, if they really are serious into going into the Web3 space, because Web 2, Web 3, from Web 1.0 to Web 2 to Web 3, a lot of the concept is about giving out the power, distributing the power, giving back more resources to the power. Let's say in the case of medias, from newspaper, on television, towards online articles, and now Web 3 towards decentralized model. So to be able to catch up with the space and be part of the ecosystem, I would say that a lot of traditional companies will have to be more open-minded in how they redefine the business model and the willingness to give out and distribute power towards the community. I think that is what I would say that for traditional companies to really catch up in and be part of the ecosystem. If not, I feel right, what will happen if the traditional companies don't really convert? It will become like the Web 2 where all the new Web 3.0 startups will be the one that leading the market. And by the time that the other older companies want to catch up, it will be too inflexible or too late to be into the market. So I would say like for the ecosystem building, it's really all about like having the correct mindset, having the flexibility and adopting the new mindset to be able to be part of this ecosystem.
But the most important thing is how to build it to be attractive and sustained.
Yeah. For me, right, for that part, it will be a lot about the token economics and the cryptonomics. Because, like for example, let's take a look at the game fee project, Axie Infinity. For users to be able to join in, they will be able to play the game and earn the SLP token. But at the end of the day, is the game complex enough to attract people to play the game just for playing the game? Or is it everybody playing it just to earn the incentive that they can get? But if people are just playing to earn the incentive, how sustainable is this token model to be? Will it be a lot of like price up and down, a lot of volatility in the price of the token? So I think like in creating a sustainable ecosystem in the crypto and Web 3.0 space, involving token, which is a brand new community, right? Having a good understanding and balance on the economics of the token will be the key towards the long-term sustainability of this ecosystem. That's what I feel. It's not just the game fee, even like the DEX, even like the IDO platforms, NFTs also, everything that involve like all these tradable tokens, right? The economics part of view will be the key towards the long-term sustainability. That's my point of view.
What about you, Kun Jittinun? Building a business models, how do you make it attractive and more sustained?
Yeah, I think the first one is the commitment of the developer. The intentions that they would like to create a commitment, create like a community, create an activity for the ecosystem. So that's the first one. And the second one, I do agree that tokenomics is an effective tool to be used. Because for tokenomics, we can shape behavior or incentivize participants in the ecosystem in a way that developer would like to be. So for tokenomics, there's various ways to shape and incentivize people in the community. Yeah.
And Sanjay, would you like to add anything to this?
Sorry, I'm muted. So I think about the collaboration and community, so we've seen the industry grow quite exponentially. So I think people are exploring a new business model, new collaboration, corporate trying to enter the space. They have to come in with a new mindset. A lot of them, I think, has missed the bus from going from Web 1 to Web 2.0. So I think they don't want to miss out on that stuff again. So I think this time is very important for them to come in with some sort of plan or some sort of vision, and to be able to attract, like you can see globally, lifestyle-related company are coming in, financial company are coming in, whether it's to NFT, exploring digital asset, real estate company are exploring new funding method. Artists are being able to monetize their engagement with the fan, create a community from themselves. So I think it's a very exciting time to be at this moment in time, and there's potentially to see how this will grow in the future, and also it'll be not only about investment, right? So I think everyone will be affected by this one way or another. Yeah, so I'd probably say it's a great time to be in at this moment in time.
So we're talking about creating business models, we're talking about opportunities and also how to make it attractive. So my question is, what kind of next technologies and financial innovations will we see in the digital asset? Kun Jittinun ค่ะ
With the advancement of technologies and with the financial engineering in mind, I think both come together. It will create like innovations or more advanced or capturing opportunity in the markets. Purely only technology is nothing. It needs to come up with like financial knowledge and also with the financial engineering to make it like more like effective. That's what I think. And for the next section of financial innovation, I think it's relevant to regulations as well, because we talk about like DeFi's benefit of DeFi's cutting off like intermediary peer-to-peer transactions. But right now, we all know that regulators step up to like try to regulate certain activity of the DeFi space or digital assets. So I do expect to see like not purely like 100% DeFi, but maybe like CDeFi is the solution or compromise way for like a developer and also the regulator. For CDeFi, it's allow people to experience the DeFi's product and service. In the meantime, they can comply like certain regulations as well. Yeah.
Sanjay คะ
So I think the trend, I would probably say, is very hard to predict, to be honest. Like we see new innovation on a monthly basis in this industry. So I've been here seeing from the DeFi, early DeFi era, where the UX UI is completely horrible, to right now where people are getting into DeFi a bit easier, but still a lot of roadblock, right, for the normal people to enter this space. And then we see the development of GameFi, we see the development of NFT, whether as to show your status as a collectible, to be able to earn on different games. So I think in the future, right, we are unlocking potentially new business model. You're going to see a lot of Web 2 and 3 kind of hybrid model. Global companies are taking NFT very seriously. First of all, they see it as a view of people are being able to own actually the asset that they have. Then we can talk about how we're going to monetize the asset. Future, I would probably look, another trend I think interesting to look at is also monetization of your own data. I think that will be a very big topic in the future. Right now, a lot of platforms that we are using use our data without giving us any reward, right? So I think in the future, everything that we own can be monetized in the digital world. I think, and we can actually really have a true ownership of it. So I'd probably say we're going to have like some new business model coming out of that. Then we are talking about the CeFi and DeFi that Jittinun mentioned. I would say that is also probably one of the big trends. And then we haven't talked about the metaverse part that you can actually help be part of the ecosystem, the DAO concept where we actually have everyone has some voting right. Whether it works or not is one thing, but I think it's probably to be an interesting concept for community to be part of. Have a decisive vote on certain things that the platform can do or the foundation can do, and also how to run this whole space as a big community. So I'd probably say it's a bit impossible to predict, but I think as this market moves very fast, there's a lot of new innovation every other day. So we'll probably see how it goes well in the future. Yep.
And what about you, Mr. Chung Ying? What do you see? What kind of next technology and financial innovations will we see in the digital assets?
So for me, right, like just now what Sanjay mentioned for DeFi, right, it moves so fast. Within a year, right, we are now seeing the industry talking about something called DeFi 2.0, which is building more of financial products through the usage of the DeFi 1.0 products. I would say that for the main innovation to happen, right, at the end of the day, regulators is all about protecting the consumers, like, and also preventing the AML from happening. So that's why I would say for DeFi to really take off, right, and being recognized globally by the regulators, right, the two parts of it, which is the KYC part, we are now seeing some DeFi platforms starting to begin to integrate KYC solution to them. And second is the transaction monitoring part, which is, I think over the last few years is being kept under the media spotlight, but which is, I think will be the key component for DeFi to be accepted globally, even by regulators. Because with the transaction monitoring, we can confidently tell the regulators that money laundering is not happening, AML compliance is being done properly, and with this, it's a lot of stronger power to be able to persuade regulators. And with the regulatory support, right, definitely the financial space for DeFi and crypto will definitely boom. That's what I hope that we will be able to see in the next few years. The technology is actually already out there. It's just now it's all about adoption, being used by all the different protocols.
What should the companies or businesses be prepared towards this?
So for Toco-wise, transaction monitoring-wise, we are using a company called Merkle Science. They are based in Singapore. Basically, they help to do a lot of on-chain analysis to identify where the crypto transactions happen. Is the transactioning happening between two crypto wallets of illegal activities, or is it this being sent to an exchange where the users is not KYC? So all these are things that I think regulators nearing the future will be able to understand, and from there they will be able to know that in actual fact, right, crypto transactions are more transparent than traditional bank fiat transparency. So the only reason now it's not being regulated, I feel, is they don't understand how to analyze the tool and how to use the tools yet. It's already there. So it will all be about regulating the regulators and letting them see that crypto is actually safe as long as you know the correct tool to use, and you can prevent all sorts of criminal activities from happening. Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Kun Jittinun ka? Do you agree that cryptocurrency is actually more transparent than the traditional way?
Yeah, I think in terms of technical perspective, yes. Because we leverage blockchain, and the blockchain is encourage the transparency for sure. Yeah, but I think it's just the way that people use cryptocurrency for a specific purpose that may trigger concerns from the government, but not purely from the technical perspective. Yeah, that's what I think.
What about you, Kun Sanjay?
Well, yeah, I completely agree with that. I think with the crypto transaction that we can view on crypto is as transparent as it gets. So you can monitor anything that is data that is on chain. People are actually monitoring all the wallets, what is going on within the ecosystem. We can actually see, right, even in some protocol, whether Ethereum, Terra, AVAX, what is the movement in it, how much revenue are they generating, what is the wallet movement of the people keeping it at their core wallet, taking out of the exchange, what are they doing with it. I would probably say is much more transparent compared to even the traditional equity market, right? Because that one you have to wait for the company to declare their profit and loss statement and all the balance sheet. Over here, I think the balance sheet is on chain, and you can see everything right away, right? You don't need the company to come tell you and do a report on what exactly is going on. We can use the data on chain as a core basis. I think that's the main beauty of it, actually, to be able to see everything transparently. And there are people and the community helping monitoring this in a almost a real-time format, I would say. So, yeah, completely agree,ครับ.
Okay,ครับ. So now we are going to talk about the digital assets, how they're helping to reshape the financial ecosystem and becoming the future of financial mainstream, and who would benefit from this? Who would benefit from this the most, Mr. Sanjay?
I'll probably say that's a very bit difficult one. I'll probably say a lot of new existing company will benefit from this. But at the same time, right, whether you are an entertainment company, a corporate retail store, a bank, a financial institution, digital asset will be something that you have to look into. For example, if you're corporate want to do a loyalty point, should that be changed into a fully decentralized digital asset, being for people be able to accumulate other business model like even shop to earn, right? It's like a cashback already system that already exists within the traditional financial industry, like the credit card itself. So I'd probably say a lot of, I think all industry should be concerned about this, whether you're media, financial institution, banks, or even anyone. But for you be able to starting point at this part, right? You probably have to have some sort of strategy, derive it back down, right? And see, and to let your control go a bit to be able to monetize on the new Web3 era. Because you cannot have the same Web2 mentality going into the Web3, because Web3 is all about the community collaboration, distributing the ownership to everyone else, right? So I probably see the way that people want to lose control of the control they have is probably the hardest thing they have to get their head wrapped around. Yeah.
คุณจิตตินันท์คะ
Yeah, I think as the world is moving into like digital economy, so for digital asset definitely play a very important role for the digital economy, and for the digital assets, I think it's provide a new way of people to store its value, like things value, and a new way to for people to transact in like global economy. So I think that's the how it will move like as the way like economy moving into like digital economy. Yeah.
But do you think that who would benefit the most?
Yeah, I think it has to be everyone, because once like it needs to be like developer, it needs to be like user or investor, it needs to be also like a community or regulator as well, because once you like develop a product without user demand, it's like meaningless. And once you develop a product that's illegal, it's like impossible, right? So it needs to be like everyone to win this game. Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Chung Ying? Would you like to add anything to this?
I think for me, definitely everybody will be like benefited from this. But what I want to add on a bit more is like the one who will benefit the most, I feel, will be towards the unbanked population throughout the globe. Because like for me, like crypto tokens, all these are very good way and low barrier of entry for unbanked people who previously not being accessible to the banks, be it because of location wise, be it because of like let's say the minimum wealth or minimum deposit they didn't meet the requirement for them to set up the bank account. But now all of these people can actually get access towards the crypto financial space. And this can be through DeFi, this can be through GameFi, this can be through all the ecosystem that's being developed. And the important thing is, right, all this ecosystem doesn't require those people to have a minimum capital. You can even purchase, let's say, a Bitcoin with just $10 worth or $15 worth. Unlike if you go towards like the traditional banking, if you want to access the stock market, you need to have a minimum capital of like maybe a few $100 or a few $1,000 to buy a lot. So these are ways that I will say that for this unbanked population, which is so big in the Southeast Asia and ASEAN country, ASEAN region, right? They should be the one that actually benefit the most when this really take off. Like they can start doing savings or investment with just $10, $15. They can start playing games to earn extra income, which will actually really change their life quite significantly, I feel.
Well, since you already say that it's more transparent than the traditional way, so do you think that digital asset will eventually become the world's financial mainstream? And would that actually replacing the traditional financing system?
I won't go to the extreme of saying replace. Basically, definitely like in the current, like let's say, like it won't be an extreme case of replace or like for example, like when we go from traditional to Web2, traditional companies are still there because they have the audience that preferred that kind of ecosystem. We have the Gen Y, my generation, who prefer the social media, the Google kind of era, and Web3 is the same. When Web3 comes, there will be a group of people who prefer this new model. But it doesn't mean that the older model is totally being eliminated. They will still be there. It's just that it catered to different target audience. That's my thought.
So my last question, I would like to ask, what would be your advice for a beginner who are interested in to invest into this digital asset, or enter into this digital world? Because I believe that in the end, everyone will move towards that platform. Kun Jittinun, would you like to start first?
Yeah, I would suggest that trying to understand what you are going to invest, because there's a wide variety of various type of digital asset like cryptocurrency, investment token or utility token, which have like embedded certain feature in there. So I would recommend that investor try to understand, try to find information first, because it's not just the risk of underlying asset, but there's a risk in terms of cyber security as well. So that there's an options or like various investments. You can like invest directly, or you can like invest via fund management. There's like various options, but my recommendation is trying to understand what you are going to invest. Yeah.
What about you, Kun Sanjay? Would you like to advise anything for a new beginner? Where can they start?
For sure. So I would probably say the first thing they have to have is strategy. Coming into the market, right? Like you have to have a clear strategy, what you expect for the expected outcome that you have. Second thing is risk management. Be able to hedge your risk and going in and know the risk reward on what you are investing in. Thirdly, have thorough research, right? Knowing what you want to invest in and why you invest in it, the conviction you have. Especially also being in it for the long term, not for speculative purposes. So you will have like a longer thesis and a longer conviction on where this is heading. But I think also things to avoid is just like speculation, going all in, buying because your friend told you so. And also the things to avoid is also being able to keep your digital asset, right? And know the differences between keeping your asset in exchange platform or keeping it yourself. And also, I think importantly, playing around with it, starting off small and playing around with it to learn a bit more, right? Whether it's DeFi, GameFi, investment, staking. So there's plenty of stuff for people to do in this space. So just have to play around a bit, and if you want to play around, start small, that's all. And then once you have more conviction, you can have a more longer term strategy and diversify as you see fit. Yep.
And Mr. Chung Ying, what would be your advice for a beginner?
Well, actually, most of the points is being covered by the rest of the tool. So those are but like what they say is don't put all your money in, only invest what you can afford to lose. Because you never know what will happen. Like let's say in 2017 the market crashed 80%, but who knows in 2020 it grows up I think 3x more than during the 2017 peak. So but the thing is, can you wait 3 years for your money to be there before it comes up? So if you have to liquidate your asset during those periods, it's basically very painful. So that's why I will always recommend my friend to only invest what you can afford to lose. Assume it can go to zero and it doesn't affect your lifestyle. Yeah, that I'll say is the important. And definitely use the license platform. There's a reason why it's licensed, because it's being checked by the regulators, it's being protected by the regulators. If something happens, at least they are there to be taken action on. Yeah.
Okay, so for beginners, please do your study before you start to invest. And of course, there are a lot of opportunities out there for you. So first of all, I would like to thank you very much for such an interesting and informative perfect talk. Thank you คุณ Sanjay Popli, CEO and co-founder of Cryptomind, คุณ Jittinun, Chatsiharach, CEO of TokenX, and also Mr. Chung Ying Lai, Chief Strategy Officer from Indonesia.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank
ค่ะ
you ขอบคุณครับสวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ